Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone that rule well. And I want to say peace and salutation to the elect of the nation of Israel. To you all, I say Shalom. This is the brother Mayaka Olive from the GMS West Palm Beach camp. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the flock of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Right, you see in the headline here, I got this video from Twitter, and it says breaking U.S. Navy personnel from the USS Wasp assaulted after disembarking in Izmir, Turkey, as crowd chants anti-American slogans. 5 U.S. soldiers joined in after seeing the incident, and that police intervened. Attackers had been detained. The U.S. Embassy to Turkey confirmed. Right, so apparently these so-called soldiers from the U.S. Navy, once they got off their boat called the USS Wasp, they were attacked and assaulted by the citizens and people in Turkey, man. Alright, so I'm gonna play this video real quick and I'm gonna get the precepts. Slock it.
Biz Türkiye'ciyiz. Türkiye gençlik birliğiyiz. Bizim milletimizin başına. Geçin. Biz Türkiye'ciyiz.
Hey, so you see what's going on, man? You see what's going on, you know? Let me real quick. Let me jump over to the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 15. Slock it, and verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Right, so you know, in this vision, this John the Revelator saw, he saw a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads, and the 10 horns, you know, represents the NATO and the EU. Now, even though Turkey isn't part of the EU, it is a part of NATO, right? So these are allegedly nations that are two nations, which being Turkey and the U.S., two nations that are allegedly having a allegiance or an alliance with each other, man. But look what's going on as soon as the military gets off the boat, man. Let's go to the book real quick of Psalms. Slakia. I'm gonna go to the book of Obadiah. Either or would have been fine though. Oh man, that's the spirit. Fuck it, I'll go to Psalms. Psalms 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Right? The enemies of the Lord have made a tumult, man. And, you know, the enemies of the Lord, really, everybody that's not serving the Lord is an enemy of the Lord at the end of the day. But for the most part, any nation outside of the nation of Israel was consistently so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for the most part. All right, that's who are the true Israelites. Any nation outside of that is the enemy of the Lord, man. All right, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. Right, they have taken crafty counsel against the chosen people of the Lord, man, which are the Israelites, and they have consulted against thy hidden ones. So, you know, they have consulted against the lost tribes of Israel, man. Right, they got together and made slog. Let me just read it. Psalms 83 and 4. They have said, "Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." Right, they got together, you know, and made plans, and made traps to take away our culture and our identity, man, so that we could go by other nationalities instead of our true nationality that the Lord gave us, man. For they have, Psalms 83 and 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Right, all these other nations. When you continue reading, it lists these other nations, but all these other nations have gotten together and banded up with the really one main objective is to keep the Israelites asleep, man. Keep their heritage locked away, right? So they all, you know, made a pact, you know, to keep our identity hidden, so they could really rule for a longer period of time. But their time is running out, man. Obadiah 1 and 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Esau referring to the so-called white man, right? But just because you're white doesn't mean you're Edomite. But for the most part, majority of white people are Edomites. But we do have Israelites sprinkled among, not sprinkled among, well, yeah, sprinkled among that looks like Edomites, but they're really Israelites, man. They look like so-called white people, but they're really Israelites because of their seed of their forefathers and their father, man. Obadiah 1 and 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in him. Right now, even though this isn't, really, you know, eating and burning her with fire, or laying the wound under Babylon or Esau, but you starting to see why, or you starting to see how the 10 horns are hating the whore, man. Right? You starting to see how these nations really aren't cool with the way Esau Edom is handling things and running things, man. All right, these other nations are getting fed up, right? Because in the book of Daniel it talks about how America had a look that was more stout than his fellows, man. So that the pride of Esau really has the pride of, especially American, Babylonian Edomites, man. Their pride is like no other, man. And everybody hates a proud person, man. That's what the scripture talks about. Pride is hateful before God and man, man. All right, let me jump up real quick. Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Right. Esau, Edom is really hated, man. They're only tolerated because they're in power. They only tolerated because the U.S. dollar is still the world reserve currency. So these other nations have to tolerate it for the time being, man. But they've been fed up, man. Verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right, and that's the pride of Esau Edom, man. That's their pride, and then they think they could just do anything they want, go anywhere they want, create military bases in any country they choose, man. People are fed up, man, and who knows what kind of degeneracy these so-called soldiers were into, man. Because if you think about it, any real soldier, and part of this is hilarious, man. Part of this is embarrassing too, but this is a curse on Esau Edom. How the curses are being reversed. Because to call yourself a soldier, but then to be on displayed in front of the world, screaming for help, screaming at other men for help, other people for help, screaming at women for help, because you're screaming at the crowd for help. You're not screaming to one specific person. One person you should ever cry out for help for is the Lord, man. But of course, they appear to be Edomites, so they're not going to call upon the name of the Lord, man. We jump over to Lamentations chapter 4, even though this is referring to the nation of Israel, but it's funny how this is being flipped on these other nations, man. Lamentations 4 and 17. As for us, referring to the Israelites, our eyes has yet failed for our help, for in our watching we have watched for a nation that could not save us, right? And that's exactly what this nigga was going through, when he was screaming help. This guy right here, and this is the thing too. This nigga can't be a real so-called soldier. He looks like a cop more than anything, but really he has the shaved face and the YMCA mustache, man. He's probably a sodomite, man. Right? Because when you go into the history of the Navy, man, right? I'm real quick, because the Navy has a byword, or the Navy is known as something else, man. Right? I'm gonna put alphabet gang in the Navy. Oh shit, Slocky. Alright, this is on Kuyora. Is there a lot of alphabets men in the Navy, and why? The Navy currently has over 300,000 active duty members. There are a lot of alphabet men and a lot of alphabet women in Army, Marines, and in the. But this is I wanted to see. Yeah, see, this is what the Navy is known by. the branch of the military with the most alphabet members, man. But there was a Reddit site. Oh, yep, there it goes. Why is the Navy the alphabet branch? And somebody answered this question. It says there was actually a time when someone had a job in the Navy to find and expose all the alphabet guys so they could be discharged. Their plan to accomplish this was to have tons of alphabet of sodomites abominational relations and report anyone they got with, to the point that the Navy shut down that job because it was causing more alphabet than it was stopping. As opposed to talking to people like a normal straight man would in the 40s, what I've done, right? So they're basically saying, really, that was a hypocritical job, because in order to do that, you would have to sign on a sodomite to expose other sodomites, right? So they said they had to shut that down because that nigga was just no homo running through everybody, man. All right, but this is what this nigga looks like, a sodomite with a shaved face, man. So you know what kind of debauchery they were into in this other place, man, in Turkey, man. This is why they're telling these niggas to go home, man. Take that shit back to your fucking house, man. Bring that fuckery here, man. But this is hilarious, man. Seeing alleged soldiers, alleged mighty men of the mightiest nation in the world, crying and begging for help in the streets, man. And nobody has weapons on them, right? They're just holding them back, you know. They're just holding their arms, man. And this nigga screaming for help like a bitch, man.
Biz Türk'üz. Türkiye Gençlik Birliği'yiz. Bizim Mehmetçiğimizin başına.
Nigga screaming for help, man. Hey, this is exactly what the scripture says, man. It is a joyous sight to see that, man. Seeing that, it's really comical, man. All right, we go to the book of Sirach 25, and I'm gonna close out with this, Lord willing. Sirach 25 and verse 7: There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Right? Even though that fall wasn't great enough, but it still was hilarious, man. That's just the Lord destroying this nation brick by brick, man. Destroying the image of strength that they portray, man. Right? And one last thing before I close out, this TGB, I had Googled it to see what it meant, man. Let me real quick. TGB Turkey. And it really translates to the Youth Union of Turkey. So in Turkish it's TGB. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. The Youth Union of Turkey is a Turkish anti-American, anti-Atlanticist, and Eurasianist revolutionary youth organization closely associated with the Patriotic Party, founded in May 2006, and comprised of 65 student clubs and societies over 40 Turkish universities. Hey, just like we're seeing now in America, you're starting to see pro-Palestinian movements across the universities in Babylon. So this was swept across Turkey. This anti-American movement, man. It's going to show you how these 10 horns are starting to hate America, man. But I'm going to wrap it up with that. Lord, one of this lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. I rule well. And I want to give peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. Until next time, I want to say Shalom and Abad Babal.